This is Dr.S.Subbulakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics. Here we are going to see about the correlation analysis. Correlation analysis is a statistical method which is used to find out the relationship between two or more variables. Types of correlation on the basis of direction of change and the basis of number of variables and on the basis of proportions. On the basis of direction of change, there are 5 types of correlation: positive, negative, perfectly negative, and zero correlation. On the basis of number of variables, there are 3 types of correlation, that is simple, partial, and multiple. On the basis of proportions, only 2 types of correlation, that is linear and non-linear correlation. Positive and negative correlation. The correlation between two variables is said to be a positive if an increase in one variable corresponds to an increase or decrease in the other. The correlation between two variables is said to be a negative if an increase or a decrease corresponds to a decrease or increase in the other. Simple, partial, and multiple correlation. Simple correlation involves the study of only two variables. For example, when we study the correlation between the price and the demand of a product, then in the partial correlation, it involves the study of 3 or more variables, but considers only 2 variables to be influencing each other. For example, if we consider 3 variables, namely yield of wheat, amount of rainfall, and amount of fertilizers, and limit our correlation analysis to yield and rainfall with the effect of fertilizers removed, it becomes a problem relating to partial correlation only. And in the multiple correlation, it involves the study of 3 or more variables simultaneously. For example, if we study the relationship between the yield of a wheat and both the amount of rainfall and the amount of fertilizers used, it becomes a problem relating to multiple correlation. Linear and non-linear correlation. Linear correlation, the correlation between two variables is said to be a linear if the amount of change in one variable tends to bear a constant ratio to the amount of change in other variable. And the correlation between two variables is said to be non-linear if the amount of change in one variable does not bear a constant ratio to the amount of change in the other. And this is some of the diagrammatic representation of the correlation. This is a perfect positive correlation. And the correlation values lies between -1 and +1, and it is denoted as, that is the correlation value denoted as small letter r. And this is high degree of positive correlation, and the r values is, if it is a high degree of positive correlation, then the r values will be +0.80. And this is a perfect negative correlation. And perfect positive correlation, R value will be -1. Moderate negative correlation, here the R values will be -0.8. And if it is a no correlation, then R is equal to 0. And this is a summary of the degree of correlation. For the perfect positive correlation, R value is +1, and for the perfect negative correlation, R value will be -1. High degree of correlation for the positive value is between 0.75 to +1, and for the negative high degree of correlation, R value will be -0.75 to -1. Moderate degree of correlation for positive values between +0.25 to +0.75, and between -0.25 to -0.75, it will be a negative moderate degree of correlation. And for the low degree of correlation, for the positive value is 0 to 0.25, and the negative low degree of correlation will be between 0 to -0.5, -2.5. And this is the interpretation of correlation coefficient, and this correlation value lies between -1 and +1. If R is equal to +1 means, then the correlation between two variables will be a perfect positive correlation. And if R is equal to -1, then the correlation between the two variables will be a perfect negative correlation. If R is equal to 0, then there exists no correlation between the variables. Thank you.